Thank you all for being here. Welcome to our info session on what are your roots, ancestral healing for QT people of color, facilitated by myself, Danielle, the Witchy Femme, and Bex of House of Our Queer. We're really excited to be here with y'all. And yeah, we'll jump into it. So just want to take us through the flow of today. We are here now in the welcome. As people continue to come in, we'll just keep it flowing. We will go through a grounding specifically to call in our ancestors, call in our folks. So if you have a candle or incense or a crystal or anything that is helping you to call in your ancestors and become grounded, now would be a great time to grab that. We'll do intros, talk about who we are, why we're doing this, why we're here tonight. We'll do a group share. We want to hear from y'all and just, know why you're here, what brought you to the info session. We'll go through the 6-week flow, and then we'll hear back from y'all and we'll do a close. So yeah, that's the flow for the evening. We'll be mindful of your time. We'll get you out of here on time. So we'll get into the grounding. I'll kick it off to Bex.
Yeah, wanted to start with our grounding. We do have a lot of info we want to chat, we want to share, but first we want to make sure to arrive. So go ahead and just take a moment and feel your body. You are, welcome to turn the camera off and just really we are here for feeling grounded, and we want to make sure you feel in your bodies. If you have not yet just felt the connection of your body with whatever surface it's being held in, chair, ground, just really take a second and a couple of beginning and cleansing breaths to tap in, to feel that support. We are in chilly times, so I hope that wherever you are inside, there's some aspect of warmth, and we'll probably get a little bit more, stirring up some energy. Go ahead and just imagine that. Imagine today we're going to go with the flow of a waterfall to get started. Really feel a perfect temperature waterfall flowing from the very top of your head. And let clear out your mind to start. Let it whisk through. If there's anything you've arrived with, whatever you were doing before, whatever needs to get done after, we really want this to flow around so that we have a container for this moment. The work we're going to do today is so exciting. I want to be as present here. And so we'll just, if anything comes up, let it catch onto this waterfall, let it float away. This swirl through your mind, through your throat. We have some conversations to have today. We don't want anything clogging up or holding. If there's sticks or mud or guck in your throat space, we're going to allow this water and kind of direct it and let it flow. They cascade over our shoulders and just splash around wherever it needs to go. We hold a lot of stress, tension in spaces in our neck, pinches, and holds us sometimes. We want to flow, maybe a little bit warmer in that area if it needs it. Cooling if that helps, whatever you need. Just get into all the crevices of your shoulders. Swirl this water around your heart. What we're doing is also heart-led work. So much in terms of the chambers of our heart that we can hold, not just for us, but also for our ancestors inviting into these conversations. We want to flow some new healing water into this space. let this waterfall, this water flow all the way down and just let it run now over your front, over your back, and down to the ground. Whatever is has got loose, whatever is lodged, we want to let it just flow into the earth. Turn our attention to our root chakras. It's at the very base of our seat, probably where you're sitting at this moment. That is the home in our bodies of security, safety. It's where we can turn to when we are scattered all over the place. We can send our energy, our attention to our root. We are here asking, what are our roots? And that's bigger than us, but it also begins inside of our body and our connection point. And today we're going to grow some roots down from that chakra, maybe like a redwood, or if you want to be vines, whatever type of plant, grow those roots down, down, down into the earth, all the way down, past the upper layers. Grow your roots down all the way to the very center, solid core of the earth. When you get there, go ahead and wrap those tree roots around or wrap those plant roots around. Really feel that connection. Or have that grounding. And I also invite you, if you want to pour a color or let that waterfall flow from you down to the earth, down all the way to the core of the earth, and tend to these roots. Maybe give them some extra love, some extra thickness, maybe a coat of water, coat of gold, whatever feels right. I want to get a nice sense of what's holding us. A couple of breaths, just feeling that connection. Anything needs to be pushed out the trapdoor, pushed away from your space and into the earth. Use these roots. Turn our attention to the very, very top of our head, and we want to open up this space. We want to invite in this part of our bodies, of our space, of our energy. Open, open, open wide. This is our connection point to everything that's bigger than us. And today we're going to focus on our ancestors. That is the way that their guidance, that their energy, that their magic can really flow into our own body and our psychic space. Go ahead and keep that open, and we'll just invite in this shower of ancestral healing, this shower of energy. We're going to invite in and call in our ancestors that we're working with, ancestors that we have not yet met, our lineage ancestors, and our chosen family ancestors, ones that are always guiding us, that are so excited that we are here about to have this conversation. We've done whatever we've needed to find this space, to find each other, and I can just see them just pouring down, almost like buckets, like into this space, just letting this crystal diamond energy come in and light us up from the inside out. Healing work does not always have to be grueling and hard. Sometimes it is light. Sometimes our magic just flows freely. And right now we're inviting in that flow. That'll allow you, as you breathe it in, to direct the stream of diamond crystal energy wherever you feel like it's most needed. You might flow it around your mind, a little more focus here. Flow it to a part of your body that's needing some attention. Flow it to the space underneath our rib cage. That's our space of self-empowerment, self-reliance. whatever needs to get lit up. Go ahead and just keep that flow. Just take 3 collective breaths before we close to really get this energy, merge with this energy, and feel this energy guiding this moment in our conversation today. Go ahead and breathe in, and let it out. Breathing in and out. Last time, breathing in and out. Seal that up in a nice container and send our gratitude. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you. So, hi everyone. So good to see some familiar faces, some new faces. I am Danielle Carruthers. I use she, her pronouns, and I am a Black queer femme, psychotherapist, and tarot reader supporting folks in holistic transformation. I really center my work around co-creating healing spaces for folks through different types of mediums, whether that be through therapy sessions, through tarot readings, supporting, non-linear journey of self-discovery that really does center you as the person, as the clients that I work with. I call myself a cartomancer, a healer, and a diviner, and I draw deep, deep inspiration from my Black American traditions and Catholicism and how they interweave and how I've gotten to understand the importance of both of those as they stand next to each other. My current spiritual practices include card readings, ancestor veneration, moving with the lunar cycles and the moon. The Luna is one of my guiding lights, astrology, and yeah, just overall ritualing with the moon.
Y'all, I'm her. I'm a queer witch. I'm a certified energy worker. So got a little snippet of. I call myself a lifelong educator. My background really is in facilitated learning spaces and how to create a space where folks can do their own learning and what those container looks like. And I've been working in adult education since 2016. Personally, I'm biracial, Chinese and Polish. On my dad's side, I'm first generation American, and that's a big part of my identity and my roots and connection points, and kind of being newer on this land and in this culture and feeling the really stark contrast there, while also appreciating what it means to be first gen and all the opportunities. And my Polish side, I come from Polish immigrant side, and or third gen. She was born actually, that's a Polish for grandma. She was born in the town on a farm that I'm from, where I was raised, where my parents still live. So we actually go by her farm a lot. It actually just, this is the last snippet, but um, I just found out today that they're turning my Baptiste farm into like a landmark, and it's going to be something that we'll actually get to go and often visit. So there's a lot of that. My Polish family is Catholic, so the Catholic roots, Polish roots, very, very connected. And then on my father's side, ancestral practices and a lot of other kind of Buddhist philosophies. It's the mix that I bring, and a part of my spiritual path. I talk a lot about that in a book that I wrote called House of Our Queer, Healing, Reframing, and Reclaiming Your Spiritual Practice. And it really is from someone who was raised deeply in the church and then had the pain place of breaking away and having to figure out and rebuild kind of what my spiritual practice would be. In that book, in House of Our Queer, I like to call things our spiritual toolboxes. And so the different spiritual tools or practices that I'm working with right now is definitely energy healing, moon magic, following that cycle, astrology, tarot readings, sacred sexuality, and honoring ancestors. I'm so excited for this offering, this conversation, and for ways that this will flow. And that's kind of what we wanted to share next, why this offering, why now? I'll say, so I was raised with an ancestor altar in my home. It's always been a part of what home means to me. My grandfather, Muichian, on my dad's side, he was born in China. He was actually sold when he was 9 down to Malaysia to work on rubber plantations. And that's where my dad was born, in Penang, Malaysia. And he's one of 7. Everyone is still there. And there's a big, so I didn't meet him, but he was really close to my dad and honored him every year. And it's something that I do now. I have an ancestor altar. I honor all my grandparents. All of my grandparents are not in this living world anymore. And so ancestor practice also helps me stay connected. And I'm interested and excited for what this will be. And this offering, when Danielle and I've been talking about, what we want to do together, what we want to bring, and the conversations we are excited about. So much of it comes from this practice and the idea of what this could be done in healing.
Yeah, and for me, additionally to having an ancestral altar and honoring my ancestors in this way, it feels like the why now is, we're coming into this space of being 4 years out from a collective pause, a collective breath holding, and the flowing through the awakening and the re-understanding of why we're here and our purpose, and connecting with things that are in the unseen with our ancestors. It just feels like it's this time heading into 2024 of we're awakening. We've awoken. We kind of had this couple of years where we were like, what's happening? I don't know. And it feels like 2024 is going to be solidifying a lot of these pandemic truths that a lot of us, came to terms with when we were sitting at home, in these, looking at ourselves in the mirror, literally and figuratively. And it was important for me to do this in the collective, to do this with my community, with the folks, who are around me, because it's not something we do individually. That's not the way that I believe healing happens. That's not the way I believe our ancestors made it through all of the things that they were able to allow us to create, right? So I think it's important. I think it's a big part of our own internal healing, our own looking at ourselves through the eyes, through the perspective of ancestor honoring and healing.
Energetically, 2024, like Danielle is mentioning, is really going to mirror and continue some of those things that came up in the quiet. And so that's why we wanted to, a little bit of the why now, and why we want this to be the first and that we launch in 2024. So really, our hope and intention is for y'all, hopefully, to be a part of this work and to find the folks that want to be with us and part of that first cohort. All right.
So yeah, we will invite y'all to come off screen or not, but come off mute and just share.
All right. So our goal is to do this work together. And so we wanted to share, really, we are here because we do have an offering. And I did hear you. So I do feel like, Danielle, I'm sure your wheels are also turning around what parts can be, what virtual offerings around this will also look like in the future. That is definitely something that will continue and will flow into. But we wanted to share about this. And I was wondering if someone would be willing to read this out to just share this as kind of the rationale and our intention.
I can read it. So course rationale. Many of us as queer and trans people are trusting our intuitions rather than societal and familial expectations to tell us who we are and how we can best show up in connections and community. While this is a freeing, expansive work, it also can cause friction points as we address and break through family and lineage patterns. At the same time, focusing on lineage repair work not only allows us to address connection pain points in the present, but to send healing back for generations. The 6-week in-person offering is an opportunity to delve deeper into your ancestral healing work. We begin in the present, explore the past, and then create new possibilities for our individual and collective futures.
Thank you for sharing that. We were designing this offering. Something we love about ancestral healing work really has this past, present, future that as we're doing our individual reflections, as we're thinking about what we're carrying and holding, and honestly, just already being queer folks that are having a new relationship to how we build relationships and how our relationships to body, our relationships to gender, we are breaking out of those patterns. And in doing so, we're also flooding that backwards. And also, we're guided at the same time by our ancestors in this work. We're championing it on. So there's a really lovely flow with this work. And, I'll just say that I'm someone who, like I mentioned, my family, my parents still live in the same home where I was raised. It's a town over from where my bachi lived while she was living. And most of my family is there. My sister is there. And then also my family in Penang on my dad's side, all still very close. And I am a human who couldn't fit into those spaces and has had to figure out since I was 15 and came out my own places to be, my own ways to be in the world, while also staying deeply rooted and deeply connected. I love my family, I'm very close to them, find these ways to connect. And so I'm really interested in the ways that as queer folks we can do this work in our own collective healing while also really honoring lineage and uh, connections. And so we're going to show you a little bit more about the flow.
Yeah, so excited to take us through weeks 1 and 2, the present, and just really understanding where we are. So observing our own relational patterns and tracking back, understanding like our internal intuition and reactions, and kind of coming up with this, something that I often use as like a marker is my deep connection to the plant jasmine. And I don't know why I have that connection, but it is something that I come back to over and over again. And as I continue to build relationships with my ancestors and ancestors as well, understanding like the importance of jasmine in my own ancestral lineage. So really looking at how we understand that, who we are, how we identify, and how we follow our passions. Moving into week 2, again, staying rooted here in the present to explore how linear repair work is showing up in our current relationships and connections. Understanding who is in our spiritual court. I really appreciate that term because it does encompass our angels, our guides, folks who have passed, chosen, and blood. Understanding our current practices and how we do honor our ancestors, how we tend to our altars, how we speak to them, how we cultivate a language. Um, and then understanding how we choose them. I always appreciate the idea of understanding when we are calling in ancestors, naming, known and unknown, and really asking for those unknown to reveal themselves. And so understanding that piece, and then understanding, if we have ancestors that we, didn't know, which is a lot of my ancestors, all but one of my ancestors have passed, their grandparents have passed. So I think about them as, my spirit within my spiritual court, though we never physically met in this plane. And so like how we choose our ancestors. And again, the importance of understanding as queer folks that it's not always our blood ancestors. that we call out to, that it is chosen folks who have created a path for us to be here today.
Beautiful. Yeah. I love to say our true ancestors delight when we are living our authentic selves. That's how we know we're living our truths, we're getting to those deeds, and they're the ones who are delighting in that. Amazing. So then we'll go back to the past in weeks 3 and 4. We'll really get to the root in week 3. We want to explore kind of our individual and collective past. We want to look at and we'll identify some patterns in the ways that we are connecting. This is a healing journey, and so we'll be doing some reflecting and thinking about how are we showing up in relationship and connection, what are ways that we want to break out of patterns, what patterns we want to really reinforce. So we'll look at where they were born, where they developed, where they solidified, and we'll do some guided energetic meditation, similar to what we started today, but we'll travel back, we'll reconnect, we'll observe messages and their roots. And we'll also really think about and explore how they play a role in our healing and our life, and how they have done that in our own past and for our families. And then in week 4, we'll kind of think about, okay, we have all this information we've collected, we've been on this journey, what does it mean in terms of lineage repair? And so in week 4, we will really put into action through ritual a way to bring it all together and really trust ourselves, our intuitions, our ancestors to guide the next step of our healing.
And so week 4 being such a grounding week of really tapping into the collective, tapping into your own magic, bringing that to this space, we'll take week 5 and think about what has come up. And think about the reflections of this, next step. So really forward thinking. We want to show up using our 6 senses, and we'll take the time through discussion to name and honor those feelings and share with the community. And then for our last week together, we will, have a closing ceremony and really think about what has shifted and changed throughout the course, specifically with our connections, with our identity, with our passions, and how do we then take this and integrate into ourselves, into our families, and into our community, and what we can look forward to.
Somewhere in our arc, and we wanted to be able to share that with folks. I hope even if you aren't able to join us on this particular journey, that just hearing about the flow sparks some ideas and some excitement for your own work that you'll continue to do and that we'll hopefully also be doing in some virtual spaces. For this particular course, it is an affinity learning space for queer and trans color. It will be in the Bay Area. We're still deciding Oakland or SF. That's up to some debate, but it is 6 weeks, 2-hour evening sessions, and we'll kind of design exactly when that is depending on the cohort. Applications are open now as of today. They'll be open until January 15th, and then we will start February or March, depending on when the divine timing in the cohort says that it's right. So we've shared a lot. We're obviously very excited.
Yeah, as Beck said, applications are open. We appreciate y'all carving out time this evening to just be with us. We appreciate hearing your feedback. If there's any questions, you can email Bex at House of Our Queer. And we will drop in the application link and the link to the website just so y'all have some more info. But yeah, we're really excited about this. Again, thank you for being here. And you know, my brain is like, well, we will see y'all in some, you know, way, shape, or form. It sounds like a virtual offering might be brewing. So for folks who are not here, yeah, sounds like we'll be collectively doing some more of this work.
Thank you so much.